The Ed Matei Foundation presents History. Nope, strike that. Our story. Exploring our past from different perspectives. Let's take a look back at a few things that happened on March 1st. 1803, Ohio statehood. Technically, how do you technically become a state? Well, on February 19th, 1803, Congress passed an act making Ohio a state. And on March 1st, 1803, the Ohio legislature met for the first time. So, that's it. They're done, right? Nope. There was one tiny problem. In order to officially become a state, Congress had to approve a state constitution. And the 8th Congress, which met from 1803 to 1805, forgot to approve Ohio's. The mistake wouldn't be realized until 150 years later when, in an attempt to celebrate the state's birthday, a group of school teachers went to Washington, D.C. to obtain copies of the founding documents. On August 7, 1953, Congress would finally, officially, admit Ohio to the Union retroactively, choosing March 1st as their statehood day in recognition of the legislature meeting for the first time. 1867, Nebraska statehood. On February 8, 1867, Congress would vote to admit Nebraska, then the Nebraska Territory, as the 37th U.S. state, but based on the condition that Nebraska would only be admitted if they did not deny the right to vote to non-white voters, then-President Andrew Johnson vetoed the bill. It didn't matter, though. Just a few days later, on March 1, 1867, Congress would vote to admit Nebraska anyway, making it the first and only state to be admitted to the Union by a veto override. Did you know Kool-Aid was invented in Nebraska? Yep, in 1927, chemist Edwin Perkins, partially inspired by Jell-O, created the powder as an affordable, easy-to-ship alternative to liquid concentrate. 1872, Yellowstone National Park. Before the U.S. Civil War, not many people had stepped foot into what would become Yellowstone National Park, but in 1871, geologist Ferdinand Hayden would lead an expedition, which included photographer William Henry Jackson and painter Thomas Moran, into the territory. Over the next 6 months, they would record what they found through Hayden's journals, Jackson's photos, and Moran's paintings. Once the survey was complete, Hayden would travel to Washington, D.C. to petition Congress for the protection of the area. Then, on March 1st, 1872, U.S. President Ulysses S. Grant would sign the Yellowstone National Park Protection Act, making Yellowstone federally protected land and establishing the very first national park, possibly in the world, but that's debatable. Fun fact, Yellowstone National Park is the only place in the United States where bison have continuously roamed since the prehistoric era. Thanks for listening. Tune in tomorrow for more of Our Story.